Or is it this time?
Amy, no, just tonight. Just waiting till she logs on. Hello.
Hello.
You all right?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Still not been able to get any work done, but I've started some work, which is good. Hopefully Thursday is my free day, so I'm hoping definitely to get work done tomorrow. As in, you know, schoolwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, how have you been? All right?
Yeah, online schools, bit of a drag, but it's okay.
Just trying to muddle through we all are, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right, just try. Okay, so yes, our BVL Black Community Welcome Awareness and Community Interaction Policy course and training. I was hoping tonight, but unfortunately quite a few members of his have caught COVID. So he's unable to make tonight. And he may make Friday, depends. He has, however, has come through with some contacts with the job centre. The job centre has some initiatives going on under the lines of inclusivity for Black people and awareness. I don't know what it is exactly, I haven't heard. The contact of his at the job centre knows of them and basically is one of the different hands that she has. She's willing to work with BVL. So I thought she thought to get more volunteers, you know, to do the stuff we're doing, you know, because I think it'll be quite exciting for someone to get involved with what we're doing, really, like replying to complaints. That'll be something. We just haven't got the manpower for all that. Yeah, so I've said to him if he can contact her and book an appointment for any Wednesday, 8 p.m. And then he can come along and we can all have a chat about what's to be done. Yeah, so he's going to go back to her and do that. I think he said that she was going to call me. Yeah, because I've just haven't the time to sit down and whatever. The day just goes so quickly. Half the day went today which brings me on. I'm not even going by the agenda. Well, I am. I'm telling you the updates first. So I'm not going through. So okay. So let's firstly ask: have you had any updates on the BVL Welcome Awareness Community Interaction Policy?
I've started making it. So I can't remember what my first few questions are on, but I think the first one is to do with, you know, so like how different people identify their race differently. So for example, one person with a Black parent and a white person may simply call themselves Black, while another may call themselves dual heritage. The first question is something along the lines of, how should you describe somebody's race? The way that you think they look, the way that they describe themselves as BAMEs, you know, different stuff like that, and it's multiple choice. Yeah. So that's like an example question that I've put.
And for race identification, you know, instead of putting the different, you know, ways that people in the Black community see their race, because even some Black people don't even like being called Black, because they're like, we're not Black, we're from Africa, we're Nubian, we're this, we're that, and all these names are great, but we can one of those sentences could be, how would you like yourself described as to race, or how would you, you know, identify as, what race do you identify as, etc. Not that it's really important, but the only reason that question is there, so we don't cause offense to anybody. So if I said to maybe one most mixed race people don't mind being called Black, but if someone calls them Black, they may, this is a new thing now coming up, they may take offense to that. Because they're saying that both they're dual heritage, they're not one of the other. They're not, they're not, you know, white or Black, they're dual heritage or whatever. But to me, dual heritage and Black are two separate things. Your heritage and your race are separate. So if you're saying you're dual heritage, it means you're talking about how you were raised, you're talking about the culture of which you're from, etc. You're not talking about race so much. So, because heritage is different to race. So yeah, it's not really, even dual heritage is not really specific to your race. And you get some people say, oh, we're all one, we're all the human race. So maybe it could be put, you know, how they see it. So it's understanding. And we just got to get an air with this form that no matter where you're coming from, whether it be from the LGBTQ community, whatever faith you're coming from, whatever lifestyle you're coming from, whether it's veganism, living off grid, Rastafarian, whatever it is that you're coming from, the space you're sharing is for other people who have different views and lifestyles to yourself. So it's important. Not important. We're not going to stand for anyone being discriminatory towards anybody, because this is their space. This is a Black space, and everybody has a right to be here. And you can't say, oh, that person can't be here because of this, or criticize them for whatever lifestyle they've chosen to you know, to choose, whether, you know, vegan lifestyle, no meat. I was teased the other day by another Black person, in jest, for my you know, eating plant-based, because they were saying they love meat. I said, well, go on with your meat, you enjoy your meat, but that stuff will make me sick, so I stay away from it. You know, that kind of thing. That banter is fine, but once someone starts feeling uncomfortable about it, it needs to stop. If anything, actually, I wouldn't encourage that type of banter at all, because you never know which way it's going to go, whether it's going to you know, a good way or the other way. So yeah, but yeah, sorry, did you finish saying what you were saying about?
Oh no, I was gonna say, so in the course thing, the name is too long for me to say it every time.
Yeah, I know. We need an acronym.
Yeah.
Wait. No, let's go, because I can't. It's really long name. The BCWA, the Black Community Welcome and Awareness. BCWAP, but it's for skipping out one. So it's BCWACIP, the BCWACIP policy.
The Bequasip.
The what?
It's the Bequakip.
The Bequa. Okay. Oh my gosh, sounds like another language. The BC. John says it sounds like Klingon. BCWACIP. That is a long acronym. I've got just no one's going to remember that. We need to find something. Okay, Black community needs to be in it, doesn't it? So BC needs to be in it. Can we just call it the BCWP, the Black Community Welcome Policy, or the BVL Welcome Policy? Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a nice, because awareness interaction, it sounds a bit kind of like, oh, we've got to be aware of our behavior. But if it's a welcome, it's more like someone's coming to your home. So treat them as they were a guest, you know, kind of feel. Yeah. So WC, Black Community Welcome Policy. So the WCP, so the BCWP policy, or the BCW policy.
I've just reminded of a joke from you said that.
The Black Community Welcome Policy, the BCW policy. Yeah, that's good. Well, that's halved it from BCWACIP.
Are you the People's Republic of Judea?
Yeah.
No, Judea's People Front.
Hang on, if we put it in the chat. Oh yeah, it's going in. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, right. Yeah, the Black Community Welcome Policy. Great. Yeah. Yes, you were saying, Amy.
Yeah. So in the course, so the first few questions are more for people who like don't identify as the thing I'm talking about. So for example, you know, if I think the next question about someone of Muslim faith is for someone who's not a Muslim to be like, oh, I can't say that. So then at the end, do you also want me to do a thing of how would you describe your race, your faith, your identity, so that we know what to say to them? Is that a part of the thing at the bottom, or is it just like
I mean, it is, but we need to, only because of, we need to think who's going to be reading it, human beings, and they don't want to be there for the rest of their lives doing this course.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because we can literally, even in the Muslim faith, there's so many branches, and then branches and branches within even what we're discussing about diversity and inclusion. So I think what we need to do in the first part of the form is find out about them. You know, how they see certain things. So they may not want to share it. They don't have to. But you can word it as, instead of what's your religion, or how do you identify, it can be worded as, does how you identify, or does your religion affect the way, would your religion or lifestyle affect the way you would treat this type of person? Yeah. As BVL, we are aware that some lifestyles, choices, and religions may conflict with other lifestyles, choices, and religions. We want people to remember that this is a neutral space. How do you feel you could contribute to this? And then we cover a lot there, and that would give us, whatever they write in that small paragraph would, because then we're not telling them, we're not training them, we're getting them to self-edit. So if you have someone that came in and was very conservative Christian and had views of, had very strong, not strong views, had discriminatory views towards people who of a certain lifestyle, whether it be someone cheating on someone, or LGBTQ, or whatever it is, we need to make them aware that in this space, no one's saying that you should change, But what you should do is respect everybody else. So you can't go up to people and say what you're doing is wrong. You can't go up to this person and say what you're doing is wrong. You can't. No, this is not the space for that. It's the space for sharing and caring. So we need to find out if, whoever they are as a person, we need to find out how they interact with certain groups. Or if they don't want to tell them how they would, we need to, I'm in a meeting, son. We need to find out, what another thing we can do if we don't want to make it so personal, so don't feel like they're on the spot and there's something written down. We can create scenarios. So Bob is da 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 da. He goes to da 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 church every Sunday. Da 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 da. He has da 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 da. Unfortunately, I don't know. The pastor has just turned up and he is, I don't know, allowing homosexuals into the church or something like that. What would be your response of dealing with that? That may be too telling. Or how should Bob deal with that situation? Or in a social, maybe not church. That church so much is probably not the right area, but it's getting people to think about how they can be. They can respect other people and still have their own faith and lifestyles and everything else, basically. So just because someone says they want to do what they're doing, they're not saying, as long as they're not saying that you can't identify how you want to identify with, how you want to live your life, then you shouldn't be infringing on them. And we're not going to stand for it. That's where we want to go. We're not going to stand for that. And if you're doing that, it's going to ruin the Black voice, because it's not what we're about here. So you need to find somewhere else that's going to support that. Does that mean, am I making sense, Amy? I'm giving you a lot of information.
Yeah, I had already, the first few things I've done are worded as scenarios. So like, if you were trying to explain something as bad or uncool, would you say this? And there's a few in there that are words that you shouldn't use to describe something bad or whatever, and then to kind of place themselves in the situation. So yeah, I've got that. And then maybe at the end I could do a thing so people aren't like spelling out their own personal details, if you get what I mean. At the end I could do a thing, if you have any concerns, blah blah whatever, then email BVL blah blah something, if you have any.
But you need to put in there and stress what is in our constitution, which is BVL will not have a zero tolerance policy on discrimination and marginalism. That's something along the lines of that. We're basically not going to take making anyone feel like rubbish because of their lifestyle, religion, ability or disability, anything like that. This is the Black space. Everyone needs to be having fun and laughing and enjoying themselves. I'm just going to check on dinner. Just bear with me one moment.
Okay. Hello, you're on mute. Oh.
Yes. Right. Okay. So, okay, we're on good headway with that then. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
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 Thing is. Black Voice Hertfordshire meeting. So yeah, very successful meeting. Lots out of there that came out there. We had a councillor Favour during the meeting said to make contact with the Watford group. I've been contacting them for months and they haven't responded. I don't know if she's aware, but I've got loads of Facebook messages I've sent for previous meetings and no one's responded, and emails as well. Because I tried to send, I thought it was a new group, and I tried to contact them on Monday and then realised I'd already sent them an invitation months back. So no response. So I don't know what's happening there. It might be an idea of me contacting Councillor Favour directly, which I have no time to do, and seeing if she would want to represent the group, you know, once a month, coming here, sharing, or someone would, or someone from there would want to represent, you know, from that side of Hertfordshire once a month, if they would be interested.
I can do the email if you.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Because they're not responding from BVL. Oh yes, and the second thing is this councillor Elizabeth Harburg, with her colourful emails. The councillor has asked that her picture has been removed. It has been removed from BVL, or by BVL, excuse me, and the matter is now closed.
Good.
Yeah. There'll be no reply. There will be no response to her email because there was no request made. That we're entitled to meet. So we're just going to leave it at that.
Do you have the name for the Watford organisation, please?
Yeah, I think they're called the Watford Afro-Caribbean Association.
Thank you.
Yeah. Following on from Councillor Elizabeth Harburg recent interactions, I thought it might be an idea for us to devise a complaints policy with regards to BVL, how we deal with complaints, etc. Especially when it comes to criticisms from the outside. It would help, I think, going forward for, you know, for others, how we deal with that, because, you know, we're going to get that at some point. We'll do that, but for now, I think what we can do is not respond to any negativity. We stick within the law, so anything that we're required to do by law, we do. And we could possibly put an additional note on the poster. I don't think that's a requirement, but my suggestion is to put an additional note on the poster saying that people pictured will not necessarily be at the meeting, or something like that.
Okay.
That would be a kind of request if she really cared about her photograph, if she really cared about people basically showing up to the meeting and seeing she was not there, and her getting the backlash from it, then she could have just requested that, or made a suggestion that, you know, that people know that, you know, the people pictured won't be there. But to be honest, no one cares. No one's looking. No one cares. No one cares. And if anyone cares about who's on that poster, if I'm honest with you, they care about her the less. That no one's ever asked about her. If anything, I even forgot she was on the poster. So because she doesn't show up to meetings, so her voice doesn't register in my ear. She's only shown up to the first one, and when she did show up, she was the only controversial voice, suggesting that if Black people just work hard, they will achieve and get where they need to get to. So I think she's on a certain journey that I can't help with at this time unless she asks for help. You know, it's like an addict. You know, you know you want to help them, but you can't help them until they ask for help. Oh. Yeah, so we'll leave that one there. What do you think, Amy?
Yeah, I think that's fair enough, because she's just saying things like, she's acting like we were telling people that she was in BVL, but no one has ever said that. No one's ever come to us and suggested that she is like volunteering with BVL. So it's not even true. No. I've never heard anyone say, like, think that she's in BVL.
It's very clear that the people who are on the poster are people who came to the meetings, because it's written down everywhere. It's not, you know, so it's very clear. She's just being, I don't know what planet she's on. I don't know. But it just goes to show she's got time to write emails like that. Maybe she should write an email to the Labour Party and ask them why they don't have enough Black representation within their party. Because they seem to always stand with, they've had the most than Conservative, but you haven't had enough. And, you know, Black people tend to vote for you more than Conservative, but you have racism within your party. Maybe send a couple of emails to an establishment that, if changes were made there, would register everybody else. That's maybe something you could do, rather than standing there with your rich white privilege telling someone who's Black what they should do for Black people because you know more. When I was reading that and she was suggesting that to me, I was just flabbergasted. I was like, you haven't lived one day of a Black life, but you think you've spoken to a couple of Black people and now you think you've got the Black voice, and to tell another Black person that what they're doing is either not good enough, not strong enough, or not correct, when you're not doing anything. I haven't heard anything you're doing. All you mentioned is that you and your mates are talking about what, doing what, because people are still dying when you're talking and no one knows what you're doing. So even when she came to the meeting and we mentioned getting kids into politics, she mentioned they had stuff for Parliament Week. I asked her and Sam what they had. They didn't answer. As you see at these meetings, the people who are engaged, when you ask them what do they have, they have a list. We're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing that, we're doing that. I didn't see any list. I just got a blank slate from them. And one week out of the year to encourage kids to get into politics or leadership of some sort. It's ridiculous. I you know, but you know, that's what BVL is here for. Okay, so that's that.
Quick round.
Yeah. So updates. Yeah, we've got time. Lots of really good updates, Amy. So get ready. Get ready. Are you ready? Okay, so let's start with Love Letchworth. So I spoke to the manager of Love Letchworth yesterday, Chris Wilson, and he said that on the 20. Bear with me. it's not that one. Here we go. Yes. He said on the 21st of August, Letchworth is holding he's bringing back the Letchworth Carnival. It's going to go in place of the Vintage Festival, which he's axing because he doesn't really, no, it's probably not doing very well. And instead, he's going to do a carnival. And it's going to be I asked him if it's going to be a British carnival or Afro-Caribbean carnival, and he said it's going to be a mix of both. I said, that's brilliant, because I obviously used to be an ex-carnival queen, and I'm obviously Trinidadian with all the carnival and everything. So he got really excited, and he said, I said, what can BVL do? And he said, how about a float? And I asked him, how much would that be? And he said it would be free. So long story short, on the 21st of August, BVL have their own float at the Letchworth Festival. So we need to prepare for that and really make it like, you know, a good, you know, to basically launch our presence, basically.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really cool. Really excited about that. The second thing he said, well, I suggested, because I contacted him and I was a bit concerned that in Letchworth, you know, seeing people walking around, it just feels really down and everyone doesn't feel really happy. And I said to him, how about some online music? Maybe one Saturday or Friday or whatever. We can do like an hour of like blues, Motown, soul or whatever, and live stream on Love Letchworth. And he said that was a great idea. So I said, I'll get the band together. The date, is a pencil date though, due to COVID, because he said he'll probably need the band to lift a little bit so the band can get together in the same space. So the provisional time and date is Sunday, the 25th of April, 2021, 2 p.m. till 3 p.m, Motown, blues and soul. And I'll be singing. I'll get my other friend who plays guitar, and we'll see who we can get on drums or whatever. And it's purely going to be community slash raise the profile locally for BVL, so people know who we are and what we're doing, which I think will be really great. But again, it's a pencil one, only due to COVID. But he was really excited about those two ideas, and I'm really excited too. Yeah, that's going to be really good.
Yeah.
So the second thing is we have an account now, almost. So I had a meeting last night to prep for the Women's Day, and with Loud. And during that meeting, Pursuit of Happiness said that they've managed to get an account. And they did need to have 3 people. You can have as many, well, you can have 3 people, you can have as many, you can have just yourself, to open an account for a community group. There is a charge. It is £6 a month for it, but it's charged quarterly. So we will need to encourage some sort of minimum donation from our games group or something small that we can get money from, because they really require £500 to open the account. And I said, we don't have £500. And they said, okay. I said, would I be able to put £20 to open the account? £20 is £18 every quarterly or whatever it is. So I said, if I put £20 to open the account, and they said that was fine. So I just need my husband to help me print off some forms tonight, the last 2 forms, fill those out, sign it, print off the constitution and do a projection of cash flow, 3 forms, and then which I need to devise myself, and then send it off to them either via email So I'll scan it back and send it by email. And then we have to wait 2 weeks. Now, once that 2 weeks is up, we'll then have a conversation about who we can put on as a signatory, because it needs to be people we can trust. So definitely at the very basic level, they need to be read all our governing documents, and they need to fill out forms. If it wasn't for your age, you would be one of the signatories, Amy, but wait a couple of years. So that's what we have to do basically. So once we filled out the forms and they've confirmed that the account is open, then I'll bring it to BVL. But for now, I just want to let you know that things are in the process, because once we get that account, it opens up it probably opens up every door for us with funding, acquiring funding. So which is what we really need. And it stops us from stressing out having to find a treasurer and We're still going to run that way, by the way. It's still running within the constitution. It just means that this account just makes it much more flexible. Yeah. What's the other cool stuff? So many cool stuff that's happened.
Sounds good. I like this section.
Carnival said about that. Oh yes, said about that. Oh yes. So on Friday we have the vice chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee for the North Herts District Council. Her name is Councillor. Hang on a minute. I think it's Councillor Kate something. Hang on. Councillor Kate Aspinwall, Aspinwal, Kate Aspinwall. Yeah, she has offered to come and speak to us about this scrutiny committee, and primarily how we as BVL can work with the council to support with this disparity. Particularly around one of the things I mentioned to her was the issue of arrests with Black people, dealing with that, and working out how we can help with that. But I'm hoping that putting that to the chair, putting that to the other members of the group, they'll be able to also bring things. But we can't really say what we can do unless we say what they can do, because we don't know how things run. So she'll be coming on Friday. The accountability group. So we need to work on getting that up and getting volunteers for that. So if we can action on of 4 people by next week. Yeah, on that, because only the accountability initiatives with BVL is going to happen, quite a lot. So so we need to get a team together, and we said this is going to be 10 as a group, but I think just as a first action, 4 people. So you will head, and then there'll be 4 people under you, Amy. Then BVL projects. So on Friday, we need to discuss with the group about how we bring the projects that we have into manifestation, and also and making money as well. We need to talk about that. Couple of important events. So at some point, we're going to have a lady come to talk to us on hate crime. I have to get back to her on that. I'd like to organise an event where someone talks about hate crime and, you know, how to recognise this, that, and the other. I'd definitely like to have an event this year on know your legal rights, so people know once they're pulled over by a police officer, what are your rights, how you're supposed to be treated, what is there to protect yourself in Hertfordshire, etc. Where are the teams? Who are the people? What are their names, etc. Because it's difficult if you come into Hertfordshire and you're on your own and you've been pulled over. You know, you feel like you're on your own. Basically, you don't know who's out there supporting you, like a group like BVL. The ethnic minority has agreed to advertise our school on their platforms. I haven't checked if they've done it today, but they've agreed to. I've sent them over the poster that I had designed, so it's going to be a good one. Yeah, so he's agreed he's going to post that. And in turn I have advertised a couple of their Zumba events. So I'm also going to attend their Zumba event, and I've shared it on BVL. So that's a positive action, because obviously we had some prickly pairs with, you know. So I'm hoping it will be again the start of, you know, something more flourishing. Yes, the International Women's Day, organised by Loud, I'm helping out with. I've agreed to showcase our One Drop Rule, the film, and help with the organisation on the 7th of the you know, what's happening. I basically said I'll okay, because I haven't got any time. Una from Pursuit of Happiness is going to do the running order, and I'm just going to say, yeah, that looks good, because I haven't got time to spend time on it. But I have offered to showcase BVL's film, which I've sent them a link to, and that meeting happened on Tuesday. Yeah. Also, another partnership has developed for BVL. What's it called? Not Locken. It's called Shout and something. Hang on, it's on Instagram. But he was at the meeting. It was the first guy that introduced himself. Will. I don't know if you remember. But he's from a spoken word group in Hitchin, and he said he liked the poetry on BVL, and he really wants to help and see how he can get involved, and he might actually be a good person to get on the accountability, because he did say that. Yeah, it's called Shout, and this mesh. Let me just. Yes, the organisation is called Shout or Whisper, and they are an open spoken word organisation based in Hitchin. And I've agreed to once a month do a video recording of my poem. So once a month I do a poem anyway. I'm due to do one. It's been so busy. I'm having a chance to do January's, but I'll do that. I'll do it this week. But he's asked if I could video it, and they'll once a month they will pop it on their page to, you know, again, to promote BVL, which would be great. So that's great with that. BVL will be will be launching prospectively a BVL Kent branch, which Glenn will head. So that's really good news about that. Amit is hopefully coming on Friday to again contribute about getting together with the job centre. We'll get to this lady, Helen Jones. No, not Helen Jones, it's a lady. Anyway, there's a lady he's in contact with that has connections with the job centre with someone called Helen Jones. And we're going to see if we can feed the youth through that and get them involved in BVL. Something like this they'll want to volunteer for, because, you know, they've got to, if they can't find work, they have to volunteer, or I don't know, something like that. Anyway, they have to be seen to be finding things. So some people volunteer to gain skills, and BVL can be one of those places. So she could actually give us tips on how we need to prep ourselves to make sure that this space is something for that, you know, with policies and procedures, etc., etc., etc. Oh yes, and I told you about the disclaimer on poster. I spoke to Amit about the whole situation with the councillor, colourful councillor, and he said that you can just do a disclaimer with regards to whatever, but he said really it doesn't sound like it's anything, so you've done what she said, and really you should just leave it. His advice also was to just leave it, but if you wanted to do anything just to go for the future, just to make a note that to say that these you know, these you know, the people within the poster aren't won't be at the meeting, won't be expected to be at the meeting, etc. Or you're not going to meet them at the meeting or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all the updates. Told you about the bank. Maggie and Darren. Yeah, and that's it's more or less it, really. Who starts to hoover now in a meeting? Thank you very much. Oh my gosh. Honey? Yeah. Sorry, can you close this door, please? Could you close this door, please? Thank you so much.
Okay. I'm not going to use this one again.
Yeah. Yeah, any updates from you? Any queries? Is that all right?
Yeah, everything's fine. I haven't had a response from the Black Solicitors Network yet, but they do seem to be a very large kind of thing, so maybe they've got quite a big backlog of emails. But yeah, I'll look out for that.
Yeah, keep an eye out, and also we need to mail shot all of the health professionals this week. The health professionals, the surgeries, the independent holistic whatever's, you know, the doulas, the herbalists, all of them. Anyone within health and wellness and well-being. Message the make sure you email the one in Letchworth, you know, the Health and Wellness Centre in Letchworth, definitely, and all of the private hospitals as well. When you also send the invite, could you also start sending invites to private schools and private practices also? Yeah, and not just doctors, but send it to dentists as well. So anyone in medical, send it to them all.
First, I just thought of this now. Ella's mum is the chief of nurses for all of like Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire, something. So I can message her as well, because
I have messaged her and she said no.
Really?
Yeah, she said she's too busy.
Oh.
Well, I messaged her. I didn't message her about coming to an event, coming to the meeting, but I messaged her about chairing a weekly mothers and baby mental health support group, or coming in like once a month or once a week. And she said that she was looking into whether it could be something that she could contribute to, but due to her schedule, she doesn't want to say she can and then she doesn't. So she said that she's not able to because she's just very busy. But you can ask her because this is just coming up the one-off to contribute. So ask her this.
Or if not her, at least someone who represents her.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. See what she says.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we've done. Yeah, we've got through everything. Yeah, so lots of good things happening there, which is good. Also, Amy, we need to make sure that we're emailing all of Hertfordshire. So do you know the different, how Hertfordshire is split? Like we've got North Herts, we've got Stevenage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If not, share it. You can do, we just need to have a mailing list for everybody. When I'm sort of saying about that, I'm talking about counsellors and schools. Well, all of them really, yeah. Yeah, we need to make sure we're doing all of Hertfordshire because we don't want people coming, oh, I wasn't emailed. I've never been emailed for these meetings. Gosh, we've only got one pair of hands, you know.
And the thing is that in the schools and the counsellors, for anyone else, I'm not entirely sure. But for schools and counsellors, I did go to all of Hertfordshire this time. So I went to right near London, people with London postcodes. Yeah. So I think, yeah, and health things, I'll do my best, but like for schools it's easier because the council has a massive list of every single school. So there might be one or two that I miss because they're not that online or whatever, but I'll do as many as I can.
Yeah. I mean, really, if you just focus on the hospitals, Lister, Harlow, Enfield, what's the other one? The main hospitals that supply, you know, look after Hertfordshire, and you might want to invite some people from Bedfordshire Hospital, because I know Bedfordshire Hospital have had a couple of meetings on inclusion and diversity, so they might want to come along to see what Hertfordshire is doing. And then just go into Google and type in private practices in Hertfordshire, and yeah, pick them from there. Definitely, we need to send an email to Attenbrooks in Cambridge.
Yeah,
that's a big one. I'm trying to think of anyone, the hospital standing out. So it's, yeah, but it will come up anyway. All hospitals, if you put in Google, all hospitals within Hertfordshire, it should come up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, QE2, the Welling one. That's another one, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And obviously Lister, QE2, Harlow Hospital, Enfield, Chase Farm is called, Chase Farm. Because people who live in Chestnut, Waltham Cross, they go to Chase Farm. That's the ones I think of right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I should be able to find all of them in Google anyway.
Yeah, I should be okay. And if you just type in private practices, you know, whatever it is, and health. That'll be good. You know, dentists, we need all of them to come and talk, really. Don't know if there's any private nurses or whatever, but the ones in the hospital probably, I don't know if they'll want to come and talk the most, but if we get one person high up wants to come and talk, that would be good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see you on Friday.
Thank you.
All right. See you soon.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
week.
You too. Bye-bye.